Hello, and thanks for joining me again for Route A Unit 2, Question 2, and this will be A, B, and C. So that's Question 2A, B, and C of Unit 2. Russia in transition from 1905 to 1924. Let's move quickly through this one because I can't believe that I actually managed to do the last one in roughly about 20 minutes. Normally I take a good half an hour. But we'll move through quickly. We'll be looking at question 2A, the deployment of knowledge of a historical event, which is worth 4 marks. 2B, or not to be, that is the question, explanation of an historical event, an historical development, worth 6 marks. And question 2C, evaluation of an historical concept, including cause, consequence, change, importance, significance, and that's worth 8 marks. Okay, moving quickly on there, I'll talk you through it. Before we begin, decode every question, considering those command words, okay? For further information on these, please refer to the previous videos that I posted, but you get the gist of this now, but I cannot emphasize that enough. Again, if you don't decode that question, every question, then you're going to be wasting ink and time, okay? So just remember that. Okay, so question 2A will begin with describe the or how did. Okay, now question 2 is use your knowledge to describe a key feature or an event that has happened in the period that you were studying, in this case Russia, from 1905 to 1924. So this is a descriptive question and requires a descriptive answer. Okay, so we've decoded that straight away, got the word describe, so we need to get as descriptive as possible to get those marks. This question demands own knowledge only. There are no sources for you to use. Okay, so an example of question 2A could be describe the key features of the new economic policy or the new economic plan, Lenin's NEP, and this is worth 4 marks. The NEP was introduced by Lenin in 1921 to win back the support of the people after the hardship of the policy of war communism. It was intended to be a temporary measure to help the country get back onto its feet. Lenin wanted to revive the economy, and so to help industry, he allowed small factories of fewer than 20 workers to be returned to their owners and allowed them to make a profit. To encourage economic growth, traders, known as netmen, were allowed to buy goods and sell them at a profit. To help boost farming, peasants were allowed to keep surplus grain after they had paid their taxes and sell that for a profit too. This led to the emergence of better-off peasants known as kulaks. Lenin allowed some private enterprise, but all key industries such as coal and steel, as well as the transport and the banking system, remained under state control. The NEP, or NEP, was meant to be a temporary measure. Okay. You must identify and describe at least 2 key features using your own knowledge. Okay, so there is no source material to go from, but as you can see, it's description that really counts here. Okay, so show off, flex your historical muscles there and get your little terms in. Okay, get dates, get examples. Okay, be as descriptive as possible. Okay, I'm just going back to that question, but then only include information that is directly relevant. Okay, even though war communism is mentioned, it is related because it was because of the failure of war communism, or the harsh measures of communism, war communism rather, that the NEP, the new way of looking at things, were considered by Lenin as that strike of lightning flashes after the Kronstadt rebellion, something that our candidate does not mention, but certainly it shows that you were using your own knowledge if you start to talk about reasons, okay, that are relevant to why the NEP was put into place. Okay, certainly key terms such as kulaks, NEP, netmen are all going to be applicable for this question. So that's just a few hints there. So just be specific, avoid generalized comments. As you notice, some of these questions duplicate themselves from other papers, more or less, maybe without the source, but you get that idea, that technique of how to answer questions. Okay. So question 2B, moving quickly on. Begins with explain why or why did. Okay, so we're looking for a why. Did something happen? Okay, so explain why something happened in this period that we're looking at. Okay, applicable to the same on any unit 2 paper, whether you were studying Mao's China, Nazi Germany, or any other period of history. I believe those are unit 1 covered, but that's inconsequential. So moving on, you want to be aiming to give a variety of well-explained reasons. Okay, reasons why something happened. Try to include specific details such as names, dates, events, organizations, and activities. Always support your statements with examples. This is great advice because you can expand, and that's what really gets you the better marks with these type of own knowledge questions. Okay, so examples of question 2B could be: explain why the Tsar and his family were murdered in 1918. It's worth 6 marks. Let's have a look at our candidate's answer. The decision to murder the royal family was taken by Lenin in July 1918 because the situation was getting critical. The Tsar and his family were held captive by Red Army forces in the town of Ekaterinburg in the Ural Mountains. By early July, the Czech Legion was approaching the town, and there was the possibility that the royal family could be rescued by the Whites. Lenin did not want this to happen, as it would be a great boost to the Whites. The Tsar's rescue would also serve to lower the morale of the Red forces. For these reasons, Lenin ordered the murder of the Tsar and his family, which took place on the 17th of July, 1918. You can see how it really has, even though it's a short, it's a short paragraph, really, that is very well put, very succinct. Okay, but these really are all top answers. And as I've said before, it's worth you listening and having a look at these just to jot down some notes, or maybe if you're listening to this, hopefully not the hour before. Maybe I'd rather you listen to it more than once, but maybe the night before. But this will give you a good opportunity to jot some notes down yourself for revision, as well as understanding the techniques that we are requiring you to provide for us to give you those top answers. Okay. Hints for the question 2B would be: aim to give a structured answer beginning with causation. Okay, so why did something happen? And as you can see, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, and these ended up turning out in this situation. That's what we're looking for there. Okay, so its structure counts in this type of question. So the question should have been designed, this is talking from the WJEC's point of view, the question should have been designed for you to be able to offer a wide range of your own knowledge and reasons. Okay, so there's room for you to put your own revision into there, if you see what I'm saying there. Okay, there is no path. You might want to talk more about the Czech Legion. You might mention dates, which just basically show your own knowledge. Okay, it fills and pads out that answer. Okay, but if you think about it, it really is exactly the same type of question as 1B was. Okay, so it is just this explaining why. So it's, if you get the technique done or nail for question 1B, it's the same for 2B. Okay. Question 2C: how important was, or how successful was? That's how it's going to begin. Let's just have a little look. This asks you to evaluate why a person, event, or development was significant, successful, or important. So you need to give us a judgment. You need to come down. Don't sit on that fence. Come down and say, I believe that this is how this person got into power. I believe why this event happened, or I believe why people lost jobs because this took place, or this medicine or this type of propaganda was successful because of this, okay? Or it was not that successful at all, or this person wasn't that successful, okay? But we need a judgment. So, using the example question of for 2C, how important was the use of propaganda and censorship in the establishment of a communist state? So here's 8 marks. Let's have a look at what's written. Propaganda and censorship played an important part in the establishment of a communist state. Through the use of propaganda, Lenin was able to spread his political ideas and indoctrinate the Russian people in communist beliefs. Lenin used all sorts of media, such as posters, banners, films, the radio, and the press. Agitprop trains and boats toured the country to spread communist ideology. The party had its own newspapers, and films like Sergei Einstein's October helped spread the message of the power of the people and their importance to the Communist Party. Equally important was the use of censorship, which controlled what was written and broadcast about the regime. This ensured there was no negative publicity and only positive information was printed about the party, its policies and its leaders. Censorship of books, newspapers, films and radio broadcasts was therefore important to the communist regime and supported the use of propaganda to spread the party message. Okay, so I think overall, that is an excellent top answer, as all of these have been. But it really, as you can see, it really goes in there and it gives all sorts of different, not only evidence of what this person knows, but actually gives reasons and gives certainly strength to his answer here. Okay? So we will just give a few more hints there. So for hints for question 2C, your answer must focus sharply on the actual topic mentioned in the question. Again, don't deviate. Okay, so it's propaganda they're asking and censorship, so make sure you get those in there. You need to support your observations with specific factual detail. Okay, some historians will argue there is no such thing as fact in history, but at this level, if you read it in a book, okay, or it's been taught on the course, or one of the books rather, that has been recommended to you on the course, or whether it's been taught in the classroom, then we would class that as being specific factual detail. Okay. And you must provide a clear judgment upon what the question actually asks you. So come down and say, yes, I believe the propaganda was successful. Or, I don't feel that propaganda was that successful. However, I think in this instance, there's quite a strong case to tilt the scales of a judgment in the direction that propaganda and censorship was an important factor and was certainly successful for the creation of a communist state. Okay. Hey, look at that. That's got to be less than, I'm hoping, half an hour or maybe 45 minutes. I lose track of time when I'm on this sort of thing. But thank you very much for sticking with me, and I hope this helps. I'll catch you in video 3 for question 3. Again, thank you very much. Speak to you